Welcome back. ISIS has launched 2 chemical attacks in northern Iraq, killing a 3-year-old girl. As many as 600 others were hurt. The attack happening early yesterday near the city of Kirkuk. Iraq's prime minister vowing ISIS will, quote, pay dearly for the attacks. All of this coming as U.S. defense officials confirm the capture of a man trying to develop chemical weapons for ISIS. Retired 4-star General Keane is with me, a former Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, the chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, and a Fox News military analyst. General, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Delighted to be here.
Can you characterize what we're talking about in terms of ISIS having chemical weapons?
Yeah, what's happening here, Maria, is ISIS recruited a number of former Saddam Hussein's scientists and engineers who participated in his chemical WMD program years ago. And they have put together laboratories and weapons factories to take what is commonly referred to as sulfur mustard. It's actually a low-yield mustard gas, and weaponize that in artillery shells and in rockets. They have conducted about 12 attacks in 2014 and through these 2 current attacks. This one obviously producing a lot of casualties, but Maria, fortunately, because it's low-yield mustard gas, there's very few fatalities. Regrettably, there was a fatality here, as you mentioned in the introduction. The good news is we have captured the head of this organization about a month ago. Our special operations did that, and we are now systematically trying to take down those weapons factories and those laboratories based on the intelligence that he's provided. What
should the U.S. be doing that we're not doing? I mean, is there something that we should be doing in this regard?
Well, first of all, hats off to General Dunford, who's been there about 6 months now. And I think he has been very aggressive in trying to get as many resources into Iraq and also to conduct operations in and around Syria as the White House policy would permit. He has stretched that, I think, pretty much to the limits. And that is why we're having this successful operation in capturing al-Afari. What we have now is special operation forces in some numbers. That number's classified. They've been there from the beginning in 2014, but they haven't really had a significant ground component.
Yeah.
Now they have. And they're going to start to pound ISIS leaders to capture them. We still, as you mentioned or suggested, do not have all the resources that we would need to conduct a more effective campaign against ISIS in Iraq or in Syria, and that would likely change when a new administration gets in, whether it's Democrat or Republican.
Well, let me ask you about that, because, of course, we're talking about the various candidates and their plans for the future. Do you hear a foreign policy solution out there from any of the candidates for 2016 presidential election that you think is viable?
Well, I don't comment on individual policies, but by candidates, but I would suggest that putting real teeth behind defeating ISIS and asking the military how to do that, I think a new president will clearly understand after detailed briefings what are the challenges that are facing the United States. First of all, that president's got to make up his or her mind first and foremost. What is the role of the United States in the world today? And is that the traditional role that we have played in the past since World War II, which I believe is different from our previous president? That's number one. And then number two, systematically deal with these security challenges. As it comes to ISIS, I think a simple question he would ask the Pentagon and his other national security advisors: what's the plan to defeat ISIS?
Right.
Give me your best plan. Put it together. That's not what's been asked in the past. The president imposed restrictions, and we've never been able to put together a full campaign plan. So that's pretty much the best answer, and we have the wherewithal to do all of that, Maria, without committing large numbers of ground forces.
All right, we will leave it there. General, good to speak with you. Thanks so much.